Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we are completely shifting our mental model of nutrition. For the longest time, we've all been taught to think of eating as basically just collecting isolated vitamins, right? A bit of vitamin C here, maybe some calcium there. But today, we're going to move way past that outdated model and uncover the hidden, incredibly complex chemistry that literally exists inside whole foods. Honestly, by the end of our time together today, you are never going to look at a piece of fruit the same way again.
Okay, let's dive right into this by looking at a totally familiar object. Picture a peach. Now, if I asked you what's actually inside this fruit, what is your very first thought? You might confidently say, oh, vitamin C, some dietary fiber, and, maybe a little potassium. And you'd be absolutely right. Those nutrients are in there, and they're super important. But as we're about to see, that common answer, it represents just a microscopic fraction of the real nutritional story hidden right beneath that fuzzy skin. Now, the visual truth here is actually kind of shocking. Those familiar nutrients we all know and actively look for on nutrition labels, they represent only a tiny 5% sliver of the fruit's actual chemical complexity. Just 5%. Meanwhile, that massive 95% slice represents thousands upon thousands of newly identified and sometimes completely unknown plant compounds. So our focus has been entirely on this tiny little slice, and we've been missing the massive reality of what we're actually consuming every time we take a bite. Section 1. Meet the phytochemicals. So this brings us to the hidden world inside literally every single plant. We're talking about the incredible, colorful chemicals they naturally produce just to survive in the wild. These compounds are called phytochemicals. Now, historically, they haven't been considered strictly essential in the medical sense, meaning, if you don't eat them, you aren't going to immediately develop a severe deficiency disease like scurvy. And because of that, they were honestly largely ignored for decades. But today, the science has totally shifted. These naturally occurring plant chemicals were originally designed to protect the plant from harsh sunlight, hungry insects, and environmental stress. But now, scientists increasingly recognize them as the absolute key to supporting our own long-term, thriving human health. It is so cool because nature literally color codes its own pharmacy. We have chlorogenic acid in yellows and reds, which helps with insulin sensitivity. Then look at the deep reds of quercetin, found in berries and onions. That acts as a powerful antioxidant for our immune system. Oh, and then you have the deep blues and purples of anthocyanins in things like blueberries, which support vascular function and healthy aging. And right down at the bottom, the dark greens of lutein and zeoxant in your leafy greens. Those actually accumulate in your retina to filter out blue light and protect your eyes. It's just wild. Each color, each compound brings unique, truly powerful effects to our bodies. And honestly, it gets even more fascinating because these aren't just static chemicals sitting around waiting to be eaten. Sometimes you actually have to activate them. Take sulforaphane, for example. It's this incredible compound found in cruciferous vegetables like broccoli. But here's the crazy part. It doesn't fully exist until the plant is damaged. Even the simple act of you chewing your broccoli or chopping it up on a cutting board causes a chemical reaction that forms the sulforaphane. And then that goes on to trigger your body's own internal detoxification systems. You are quite literally engaging in chemistry just by chewing your food. Section 2. Why scientists really care. So what exactly makes these compounds so incredibly special compared to standard vitamins? Well, the crucial point here is that phytochemicals do not act like single-target medications. Think about it. A typical drug is designed to hit one specific pathway in the body, right? But phytochemicals, they are the ultimate multitaskers. They influence multiple biological systems all at the exact same time. They're neutralizing oxidative stress while also supporting healthy inflammatory responses. A lot of them make it all the way down to your large intestine to physically shape a healthy gut microbiome. They even function as cell signaling molecules, basically shouting instructions to your cells on how to repair damage, and they improve how your body handles glucose. It's a massive systemic upgrade, not just a localized fix. Let's anchor right back to our humble peach from the beginning of this explainer. It doesn't just contain a little vitamin C and maybe a single phytochemical. No way. A single whole peach contains hundreds of these specific, super complex phytochemicals, all packed tightly together right under that fuzzy skin. Section 3. The food matrix in action. Now, having hundreds of compounds is great and all, but it's how they interact with each other that creates the real magic here. I want you to picture an incredibly coordinated relay race happening right inside your digestive tract. Okay, step 1, the physical fiber from the peach naturally slows down your digestion. Because of that perfect pacing, we get to step 2, where the chlorogenic acid is safely escorted all the way down into your large intestine instead of being absorbed way too early. Then, step 3, your beneficial gut microbes are waiting down there, and they actually feed on that acid, converting it into entirely new bioactive compounds. And finally, in step 4, vitamin C steps in to regenerate your antioxidant defenses. It is a total team effort. None of these compounds act alone. They rely on each other entirely to be absorbed, transformed, and actually utilized properly by your body. This incredible synergy is defined by scientists as the food matrix. Basically, it's the physical structure and the natural combination of nutrients, fiber, water, and those phytochemicals found within whole foods. The food matrix proves, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that nutrition is deeply about relationships and physical architecture. It's not just some random assortment of isolated ingredients thrown into a vat. And honestly, this comparison perfectly explains why eating a whole peach is metabolically totally different from just drinking a glass of peach juice, or, even worse, just popping a chlorogenic acid pill. When you eat the whole peach, you are getting that complete structural matrix. The pacing is absolutely right, the compounds get to interact, and that biological relay race happens flawlessly. But the second you extract the juice or isolate a single compound into a supplement, you destroy that natural physical structure. You completely lose all those matrix interactions, which fundamentally alters how your body processes and metabolizes the nutrients. The starting ingredients might look similar on paper, but the actual biological effect is entirely different. As this quote summarizes so beautifully, nutrition is about the remarkable chemistry that occurs when all of those nutrients exist together. The scientific evidence heavily points toward eating a wide variety of minimally processed plant foods so you can actually benefit from this full nutritional symphony. I mean, think about it. You can't just isolate the first violinist and expect to hear the whole orchestra, right? Section 4, the whole food advantage. A century ago, our goals in nutrition were honestly incredibly basic. We were really just focused on discovering vitamins to prevent terrible deficiency diseases like scurvy or rickets. But today, the science of the food matrix shows us that nature has been designing these remarkably sophisticated, perfectly interconnected nutritional packages all along. We really used to think we were outsmarting nature by extracting the best parts of a plant and putting them into a pill. But the true value? It actually lies in the highly complex, totally orchestrated interactions of thousands of compounds working flawlessly together inside that natural packaging. I want to leave you with this really provocative thought as we wrap up this explainer today. If we know for an absolute fact that thousands of compounds rely on each other, relying on the fiber, the water, the structure, and the timing of the food matrix, why in the world do we still expect highly isolated dietary supplements to produce the exact same health benefits as whole foods? It is a fundamental disconnect in how we approach wellness today. Keep this question in the back of your mind because it perfectly sets the stage for our next deep dive, where we are going to explore exactly how to optimize what I like to call the nutrition orchestra. Thank you so much for exploring the hidden chemistry of your food with me today.